Hey there, and thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm actually really excited to be presenting this vlog to you because this has actually been a topic or a question that I've been meaning to answer in a blog for quite some time now. And every time I sat down to actually write this blog post, just the words weren't flowing through me. And I realised it's because I need to talk to you about it. So that's what I'm going to do today. So this is basically a question that had come up in the Freedom Project Facebook group. So if you're not sure of what the Freedom Project is, I'll explain it at the actual end of this vlog. But up until then, you just need to know that it's my e-course. So in the Facebook group, one of my beautiful members in there presented a really powerful question. And it's actually a question that I've been asked many, many times by a lot of my other clients as well. So I wanted to present it to you and then kind of peel off a few more layers around it. The question was basically in regards to the concept of understanding that you are not your ego and that you are not your story. So within the Freedom Project, I talk a lot about wrapping your head around the idea that the stuff that happens in your life, the storyline, although it's powerful and although it often feels so real and so overwhelming, it's actually not who you are. So who you really are is energy, is spirit, is soul, is this connection to the divine, infinite, all-powerful universe. And it is that nature that we need to tap into more and more. Unfortunately, we tend to side with, I guess, and have more of a conversation with our ego than we do with our soul and our spirit. You know, when we tend to look for answers in life, the ego pipes up, and it's kind of that voice that we tend to listen to more than we tend to listen to the spirit or the soul or the divine infinite energy that is all around us and within all things. So that aside, obviously a very, very big topic and one that I explore a lot in the Freedom Project, the question was around, okay, so if we're trying to get our head around we're not this story, what do we do in life when we're presented with people and situations who are so deep in their story? Are we supposed to get into that story with them to be compassionate and in order to empathize properly on a human level, in order to be part of humanity? Or are we supposed to disregard their story and just keep reminding that person that, their story is not who they are and their ego is just taking over? And I found this a really interesting question because a lot of us are trying to make peace with all these really big spiritual concepts, but yet we're still in this body and we're still going, well, wait a minute, what do I do with this information when shit hits the fan? What do I do when stuff goes wrong? Or what do I do when somebody is hurting really badly? How do I make peace with all this sort of stuff? So this is where I want to kind of peel back a few more layers in this. And the first thing I want to say here is that you are a spiritual being having a human existence. Now, every part of that phrase is important. In order to remember who you really are, you need to tap into the spiritual and soulful part of who you are. That is the essence, that is the core. But you have been gifted with the gift of human existence. And that is the job that you're supposed to do. You're here having a human existence. So what I really mean is you can't discredit, discount and push aside all the human elements of life. And that is the hurt and the sorrow and the grief and the pain, just as much as it is the joy and the happiness and feelings of lightness and creating something beautiful and traveling or whatever it is that are the positives for you in your life. So when you drill down a little further, what we're talking about here is you got to be real with life. You can't just walk around in this little spiritual bubble, bypassing life and just thinking that, oh, well, I'm not my story and it's just my ego talking. I don't need to pay any attention to that. And that person's just ingrained in their story. No, it's not like that. We've got to be real with it. But I guess the difference that I want to highlight here is it's not so much about being so real with it to the point where those storylines and that ego stuff is actually taking over and you're putting so much power into it that you've kind of lost sight as to what's really true and as to what is the best way forward and out. And we've all been there. We can all think of examples in our life where we have been so wrapped up in a situation, somebody else's situation or our own, and the feelings and the emotions and the drama of it all, that we can't actually get perspective and step back and sort of say, okay, wait a minute, what's really going on here? Can I take my power back in this moment? Can I clear out the fog? Can I get an objective perspective and remind myself that this is just a story? I'm allowed to feel it. I'm allowed to play in it to a certain point. Being too deep in it doesn't help myself or anyone else. You know, we've all been there. And I can think of 500 examples from myself where I've been there. You know, where I've been so caught up in something that it's almost difficult to think that there is any other way but the drama of that situation. But the beauty of our spiritualness and our soulfulness is that we have the ability to see both. We have the ability to see what we really are and to see the truth of the situation and to see that the story is really not us. But we also get to see and experience the whole gamut of human emotions, which is what makes this whole thing that we're doing so special. So with that in mind, I guess where I want to take this is a little further into the idea that you're not supposed to separate your spiritualness and your soulfulness in one compartment and then your human existence and empathizing with other people and connecting with humanity and living the human story. They're not separate, they're one and the same. They come together, they feed into each other, they integrate, they overlap. And that is what we're doing here. We're finding that perfect balance at every moment between connecting to our humanity and connecting to emotion and feeling and this body and the experience this body brings. But at the same moment, we're also connecting to our spiritual guide, our soulfulness, our heart, our connection to the divine and the infinite. So when we were kind of talking about this question in the Freedom Project group, we were clearly seeing how we kind of think about these as two separate entities, but what we need to do is sort of bring them together. So I kind of wanted to share that idea with you, and hopefully what that does is kind of give you a little bit of peace in knowing that you don't need to stop being connected to other people, and you don't need to stop being compassionate and open up to people when they're in pain and vice versa. You are allowed to feel all of that stuff, and you're allowed to let that person feel too. We're not trying to bypass life. We're not trying to rise above it. We're actually just trying to be in life using the tools and the knowledge and the energy that we get from being that spiritual being as well, not separate, same thing at the same time. And there's just a quote that I want to read to you from Marion Woodman, which is, "You don't want to transcend your life, but you want to move into your life." So we're not trying to go above it, we're trying to be in it and move through it, using everything that we possibly can to assist us and help us in that journey. So I just wanted to share that amazing question that was opened up in the Facebook group for the Freedom Project and kind of shed some light on it. Writing that out for some reason wasn't coming to me, but sharing it to you, just talking to you here, makes a really big difference. And I guess that the very core of this whole message is, on your spiritual journey, on your journey to connect with spirit and to connect with your soul, we're not looking to disconnect from the world. In fact, we're looking to open up more and connect more from the heart, less from the head and more from the heart. So this is not about ostracizing you or taking you away from humanity and life. This is about putting you right into it, which is what we really want. Okay, so thanks so much for listening to that. And just to add on here that the Freedom Project is actually starting in the next couple of weeks. So the Freedom Project is my 9-week course, and it is a beautiful and powerful journey that moves through control and limitations and fears and attachments, you know, really scary stuff, but also really mind-blowing stuff as you become more and more aware of who you are. And then we move into some really beautiful work around cultivating a life of freedom and learning how to manifest and create the stuff that you want, the life that you want. So really tapping into your desires. So it is a beautiful, beautiful course, and I say that because every single moment that I am participating with the Freedom Project members on the group, I'm completely blown away by how these women have stepped up to themselves, how they've been willing to open up and dig deep and to get dark and dirty, and it just literally rocks my world. So I would love for you to be part of that. I would love for you to experience what we've been experiencing. So you can check out the details. It'll be at the end of this video and also at the blog post. So I'd love to have you enroll and join us. And know that there is two payment options as well. So you can dive into that if that makes it easier for you as well. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening. It's always so much fun to chat to you through these vlogs. And always, any comments, insights, or your own shares that relate to this topic, please feel free to comment in the comment box below. All right, love to you. Bye.